Welcome back to the channel. As in this series, we're going to take a look at all the tabletop games that have caught our eye this week or this month. Games coming to you soon, and all of those on pre-order. As always, let us know in the comments if any catch your eye or you think there's any that I've missed. There are quite a few on pre-order. There's a ton on Kickstarter, so it is hard. I'm trying to create a list of stuff I think you might like and a stuff that's caught my eye. So let's get into it with Damnation. Damnation is a 2 to 6 player battle royale board game where you take control of horror villains from the Victorian era. We've got Jack the Ripper, but not Jack the Ripper, and of course everyone's favourite Victorian, Count Dracula. You're going to take turns marching around the board. It is a battle royale, so you're trying to kill off the other players. You're going to do that by using actions and special events, as well as cool looking weapons to power you up to take home the prize. It caught my eye on, I think it was Facebook advert. Basically I saw battle royale and board game, which I haven't seen much of. Obviously it's been rinsed to death when it comes to video games, but I would like to see it more in board games, so this could be a good start for that. And the fact that it was horror villains and the horror genre and theme sold me immediately. Is this one for you? Let me know in the comments below. At the time of filming, it has £46,000 backed and it has 17 days left from filming. I'm going to try and get this up on the same day, so hopefully it's around there. Check it out on Kickstarter if you think it's one for you. Next up, we've got one I have been watching for a long time. I'm massively into my miniature games at the moment, and this does have a miniature game to go with the board game. It is Monsterpocalypse. I have been trying to hold off getting into more miniature games, but the fact that they've announced this now as a board game, obviously it's going to lead me into getting into the miniature game. I know how it works, but honestly, this is exactly the thing they needed to get me into miniature games. So it's almost perfect. The timing is perfect for me, so this had to go in the list. It had to go early in the list. But let's break down exactly what it is. It's a clever gateway into the game and is something I would probably use to ease myself in, like I just said. But what isn't to love? You get to play as giant monsters, smashing around cities and beating each other up. You're basically living out those movies you stayed up late at night to watch as children. It's hard for me not to say this is one worth backing, especially because it's such a big name. It's an established miniature game already. So there's always a worry with Kickstarter, but I think you can alleviate that with the name attached to this. This is going to be one I'm definitely going to either back or pick up at retail. But with anything, there are issues. I've not yet played the miniature game or started collecting it. I am actually going to order some bits probably after I finish filming this. I really hope the board game is the same game almost as the miniature game. So what I mean is the board game takes 60 minutes to play. Obviously that is a very short time. A miniature game you would expect double or triple that or even more for higher point games. But I hope the general idea of how it works is just a simplified version for the board game. Because I would hate to pick up the board game, learn the game, see all these other miniatures and want to play with them as well, and then realise the games are just completely separate. So they don't have to be the same, but I think it's very important the board game itself is the core rules for the miniature game. From what I can tell, as you can already download the rule books and all that stuff, so you can already kind of learn what it's going to be like. They do seem very similar, so I am hopeful in that aspect, and I do think this is going to be the perfect gateway for most people into Monsterpocalypse. The other thing is it can be quite an expensive Kickstarter depending what you want. If you want the big core set and the Battle Royale expansion, it's going to run you quite a lot of money. I think it's around $160. I will flash it up on screen now so you've got some idea. The miniature game itself is super cheap to pick up, so I would suggest maybe picking that up and grabbing the Battle Royale expansion from this. If you want to do that, that means you can play 3 or 4 player games, which is something I'm going to do myself. I'm going to pick up our armies now and then grab the Battle Royale from the Kickstarter. I did just say Battle Royales weren't overdone in board games, then I've listed 2 board games coming out with Battle Royales. Not sure if I've cursed that one. For me, I always enjoy miniature games when you can do more than just 2 players, so 3 or 4, and the Battle Royale expansion for this is right up my alley. It fits perfectly for our gaming group, so this is definitely one I'm going to pick up. How about you guys? Are you looking to move King of Tokyo into the 3D monster miniature world? Is this one for you? Let me know in the comments. At the time of filming, it has already reached 276,000. So with 15 days still to go. So this is going to be a popular one. It's going to be something that hopefully picks up a following and you can find at your game stores to play along. Just a small one in at number 3, and that is Pixel Clash. Pixel Clash is a UK based board game in which you take on the role of a classic fantasy class and try to take down a dragon. It sounds very on the nose, but I love the idea, I love the pixel art style to it, and it's from the UK, so it's kind of cool to support that. Just reading the creator's story was enough to get me interested. He was basically a fan of D&D, Lord of the Rings, like all of us, those fantasy things we grow up loving. We want to create our own, like I create my own D&D stories, I create my own book, fantasy book. So I can relate to this person a lot. Basically during lockdown, where I've spent my time writing and building a world, he spent his creating a game, which I maybe wish I could have done. The great thing about something like Kickstarter is it's so much easier to do now. This one is already finished, but it's a very quick and light number just to fit in. If you're looking for a fantasy type game, I think this might be perfect. If you're from the UK, support local. And it will be a late pledge now, but I think it's one worth backing. Like I said, go onto the page, read his story, and make the decision for yourself. But this might be one that I grab as well. I've got two smaller games to finish on. So I've got Paint the Roses, which is basically, it's Alice in Wonderland basically, without the title. It's a discussion, deduction, co-op game of logic in which you try and outrun the Queen of Hearts. In a real simplified way, basically you're running around the board by creating these different gardens, and you just want to stay out of her reach. But the thing that really drew me into this game, the thing that caught my eye, was the miniatures. So you get these really cool gardener miniatures, the Queen and other ones. You can get deluxe versions where you do get more well-produced items, but it's just one of those games that just looks gorgeous. I think the game itself will be interesting to play, but it's just such a, it's hard to explain. It's just one of those boxes that are nice to look at. The bits in it are nice to look at. Yeah, if nothing else, it sits on your shelf and it looks good, like most of my games do. The difference is this one looks good doing it. You can currently play it on Tabletoptopia and Tabletop Simulator, so you can test it out before you buy. There's also the rulebook online, which you can learn how it plays to see if it's the type of game you would like. It's a mix of co-op and sort of guessing on clues and placing tiles. So I do think it's going to be a game that most people can get into quite easily. And it's a game people have seen before, but with a new theme and new design to it. Let me know if it's one you think you might like in the comments below. It's currently been backed 195,000 already. It's still got 7 days to go at the point of filming, so if you want to get in on this one, make sure you head over and check it out. Now my final one is a very small game. It's a game not on Kickstarter, it's a game for pre-order. It might actually be out. If it is, I will flash up a website with it out. I think it's still coming. It's very soon though, I think it's this month, and that is Crash Octopus. Now this is a dexterity game, so it is, I've seen a lot of these recently, but it is, I would say there's less of these than many other types of games, so it is very interesting when you see one. Basically you create like an area with a sea and an octopus in the middle, some of its tentacles coming out of parts, and you're going to go around in ships taking turns to flick around and move and try and collect treasure without running into the octopus. Now I think this one could be a ton of fun. Just watching the videos of people playing it, it looks like a lot of fun. My game group have said it looks good, so it is one I want to grab. The only thing I would say is quite expensive for what it is, because there isn't much to the game other than the pieces. So other than that, there's no like board or cards or anything like that. So £40 for this, it's on the higher side I would expect to pay for a game. Something like Betrayal with all the components to that. They do look nice on what you do get, so it's not going to put me off, and I probably will still end up picking it up. But you can check out Crash Octopus. I think they've got a YouTube channel, or at least the company creating them have, so you can go check that out there. Let me know what you think of that one, because I do think that one's going to be quite interesting, and it's going to be one I keep an eye on, especially just seeing reviews and stuff come out recently. So it might be one I grab, it might not, but that's why I put it last. Let me know what you think. Thank you if you've made it to this point in the episode. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more tabletop content. I have got some miniature games stuff coming, I've got some board game reviews coming, and how to plays, all of that stuff. Let me know anything else you would want to see to do with tabletop stuff. Always interested in making videos to help any of you if you need rules or anything like that. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.